It's pushing 9 o'clock, but before I go to bed, I thought I'd go ahead and give you a bedtime story. For those who are new, we pretty much sit around and muse ourselves over the Dave Ramsey telephone calls. Sometimes I step out of that and we step into other areas as well, but for the most part, we like to view Dave Ramsey and his telephone calls, see what we can learn from it. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much. You know the routine, right? Have your tea, your cocoa, whatever makes you happy. Kick back, relax. Let's look at this story that ran just yesterday. How do I prepare to buy a house? All right, folks. And also we are back to our Zen music. You know, Saturday nights we kind of kick it up a little bit, but now we're back to Zen time. Let's hit it. And I'm so glad you are here with me.
Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today. Nicola is with us in Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, Nicola. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello, Nicola.
Oh, Mr. Ramsey, thank you so much for taking my call. Hope all is well with you. So I in my 20s, I listened to your, read your books and such, purchased a home at 27. However, I lost my job after 10 years, and I sold my condo in 2016. I live at home. I'm now 42, and I created a lot of debt for myself.
Okay, she lives at home at 42. Now we can sit there and say, oh man, you live at home at 42. But I do know people who get along, and I mean exceptionally well, with their parents that are unmarried, that live at home with their parents, lived there for a very, very long time. So I think our society is more kind to women who live at home with their parents than they are to men who live at home with their parents. When we think of the 30-year-old living in the basement, we typically don't think of the woman. What do we think of? We think of the guy, usually some techie. It's either a techie that's a real brain that's just never goes out and socialize, or it's someone who's completely unmotivated. It seems to be one of those two extremes. But when it comes to women living at home, we tend to be kinder and gentler on that. Anyways.
Want to purchase a condo in 2025, so I just wanted your advice and a strategy on what debt to pay down first.
It may seem kind of surprising that she's 42 and has debt, because I'm assuming, now we don't know for sure, but if she lives at home, she may not have any rent to pay. And if that's the case, then how does she have debt? I think living at home can go one of two ways. You can either go really well and the person's, workies, saves all their money, they're living at home, they should have a big savings account, you would think, after, years of living at home. Or someone lives at home, doesn't save their money because they see home as, it's a paid for expense, assuming they don't have to pay any rent or just very little rent, and they look at that as spending money. So I think, adult kids living at home, it can go good and bad.
I have $10,000 in total debt, 3 personal loans, 3 credit cards, and I have $45,000 student loan debt. I'm still in school seeking my master's, and I'll be done at the end of the year, so I'm not currently paying that. Right now I have $36,420 in my 401k. I know I borrowed from my 401k $20,000 to pay off my debt, which I accrued again.
Did you hear that, people? Did we hear that? Paid off her debt and ran it up again. This is a 42-year-old, I think we can already say, is living at home but isn't accomplishing anything. And she's racking up student loan debt at the same time. This is not a good situation of living at home. I've always thought that if somebody's living at home, they should have tons of money. It's kind of like when somebody goes into foreclosure, you would think there'd just be tons of money in the bank. You haven't had to pay rent in 3 years, But what happens is it's that lifestyle creep. People just start creeping it up as their lifestyle. So an adult child who is not fiscally responsible, and I'd like to know why she moved back home. Did she find herself, well, I know she said she was out of a job after 10 years, but did she find herself unable to pay the bills? So she goes and she moves home. We're only guessing here, okay? Because she said she was employed for 10 years or so. Okay? Was in the job for 10 years. Did she find herself unable to make rent, bills, moves home, but then learns nothing from living at home?
So right now, biweekly, I'm paying $171.94 at 4.5% interest on my 401k.
All right. So what is your
Wow. Wow.
Total debt outside of you don't have a mortgage now. So what's your total consumer debt?
10 plus 45 plus 20 on the 401, right?
Yes.
75?
Yeah, 401
65?
No, the 401 is 36,420.
No, the loan
right now
balance. The loan on the 401 is 20.
I'm sorry. $14,000 left to pay.
Oh, 14 on that. Okay.
Yeah, and it's 171 biweekly on my paycheck and a 4.5.
All right, so you got about $70,000 in debt.
Let's all pause here for a minute. For those of you, I know some of you can't see the screen. You're listening to this by audio. Let's take a look, however, at the title. How do I prepare to buy a house? This woman has got debt racked up in just about every corner of the globe, all the way down to her 401k, borrowing against that. How do I prepare to buy a house? I hope she's not thinking of actually buying a house. I think the answer would be pretty simple: clear the bills. You know, even though I purchased a condo with $110,000 student loan debt, I knew, and I know it goes against everything that Dave Ramsey, believes in about loan forgiveness, but I knew loan forgiveness was coming. I knew it. I was never concerned about it, to be really honest. I mean, yeah, I was anxious in the sense of I want to see that balance hit zero, but I was never actually concerned, okay, that it wouldn't be paid. I knew it was going to be a waiting game. I knew there was a lot of bureaucratic stuff I was going to have to go through, but I still knew that in the final analysis, it would be forgiven, and it was in 2022. That's the reason I purchased a condo. Okay? That's the reason. Because I was and of course I purchased way beneath my means. I purchased $100,000 instead of $200,000. All right, so I purchased way beneath my means. In this case, however, this woman's got debt racked up, like I said, in every corner of the globe. She's got debt everywhere. So in her case, I think she needs to pay off most, if not all, of the debt. Maybe not 100%, but she definitely needs to pay off most of it.
And you make what?
Right now, it just got raised, so 60,400. I wasn't making much, but now I am making more, and I recently paid off my car in 2021. Unless
your income changes, you're not going to buy a house in 25.
Yeah, she and I make nearly identical. Okay, I make in the low 60s as a teacher, and my income's all public, so that's why I'm pretty public with my income. It's not like teachers hide it. If you want to know what a teacher makes, just look up. There are state charts. You can look. Okay, it's nothing secret. State, federal employees, for the most part, not really secret. Okay, there's no way I would be looking at buying a house. Because again, she and I we really make identical income. I think I'm at 62, and then with my part-time job, throw in an extra 5 on top of that. Okay, but there is no way I would support a house, not a condo, a house, on my income, which is really identical to hers, and she's got $70,000 in debt in all corners of the globe. No way. And in fact, I'll be totally honest. I think even supporting a house on $60,000 for one person can be touchy. You got to have really good budgeting. I think, not that it can't be done. Clearly, people do it, but I think it's kind of, you have to be careful not to become house poor, because when you've only got one income at $60,000, trying to buy a house, especially depending upon the market you're in, Florida's not the most friendly right this moment.
Right.
What's your master's in? What?
A condo. I wanted a condo.
Okay.
I work in education.
Oh, she works in education. Well, hello, fellow teacher. However, we still have to stick to a budget, okay? She's like 3 hours from me. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people rail condos. They, condos are horrible, awful, yada, yada. Okay. But I think a condo can be a great, if you got to watch the HOAs. But guys, I look at HOAs no differently than anything else. There's one thing I won't have to worry about, and I'm not going to have to worry about walking out my driveway and finding out a tree is uprooting my, the pavement in the driveway and I need to get it fixed. All right. There are pluses and minuses, but I think the key for me, and I've been very successful in my condo, is you need to get small and simple. The more lavish your condo, the more jacuzzis, the more pools, the more cabanas. My place is really simple, really, really simple. Okay, we got a simple little dog run. We got a volleyball sand court, one modest pool. All right. I did not go for something lavish. The more amenities your condo has, the more it costs to maintain. And I know people will say they know that, but they get starstruck when they go, oh my goodness, I could have this condo and it's got, valet parking, yada, yada. I don't need no valet parking. Just tell me where my spot is at the bottom of the stairs. We all good. Okay. So I think a condo, if you play your cards right, and yeah, we had an assessment. We had an $1,800 assessment about 6 months ago, and they gave us 6 months to pay it. Okay. It was $1,800 because we are having to get in line with the new Florida condo rules. Okay. And every place in Florida, it don't matter where you move to, you're either going to pay some sort of condo assessment, an HOA assessment. I guarantee it to you. Or you're going to pay for more insurance for your single family home. Florida is not a great place right now. But I will tell you this, I would rather pay the $1,800 assessment, and I paid it. No, I mean, it wasn't fun to pay it, but could I afford it? Yes, because I live way beneath my means, okay? But if I look at the cost of my 1-bedroom apartment that I used to live in before I came here, 2020, my 1-bedroom apartment was $1,000 a month. Today, 4 years later, $1,700 per month. So am I happy to pay an $1,800 assessment? Yes. And our HOA fees went up to $455, so we had about a $40 a month HOA fee increase. Okay? My entire HOA fee increase since I've been here in 4 years has been about $100 a month. But we're talking that's in almost 4 years. 4 years. My old apartment went up $700 a month. Probably closer to $800 in the same 4-year period. So just, something to think about. There's no perfect living. There's no getting out of, amenities and things that have to be paid for. But on her income and with her debt, I don't even know with her debt if I'd buy a condo right this moment. Because it does still take some maintenance. But she could. She could do it. I think she might have a slight spending problem. Okay? Especially if she's this far in debt and she's living at home.
I work in education, so it's obviously you don't pay that much in education. So
will this master's increase your income?
1-bedroom condo. Not much.
Then why are you doing
but
it?
It's required. Well, it's required. Right now, I'm not paying for it. The school pays for it, and because I work in education, it's required to have a higher degree. So
what was the degree in? Did I miss that through all my yammering? Which, of course, you can always find the video in the description box uninterrupted.
School pays 90% of that.
Nicola, you need to pay off $70,000. Save up an emergency fund, then save up a down payment.
Well, right now I have $3,500. I just don't know if I should. But I have 3 personal loans.
Like I said, this woman's got debt. I mean, I hate to criticize a fellow teacher, but man, she got debt everywhere. It's like everywhere you look, she got debt.
35, 25.
Yeah. And you have $45,000 in student loan debt, and you have $20,000 on a 401k. You have $70,000 in debt.
And that's a lot. On our teacher incomes, yeah, 70,000 is a lot. I will be honest. The one thing that worried me the most was that if even though I knew my student loan was going to be forgiven, man, I knew though that if it wasn't forgiven, I was retiring with that sucker. There was no mathematical way for me to save anything for retirement and pay off the student loan. And I had just kind of concluded that, if for some reason the student loan was not forgiven, I'm just going to be retiring with it. And they're just going to have to take 15% of my income because I refuse to not save for retirement. She's young enough. She can pull out of this, but how do I prepare to buy a house? Absolutely not a house. She should get a condo, but I would cut that debt good 50% before I'd even look at it. I don't think she needs to be debt free. Lots of people buy homes, condos, whatnot. I think they buy housing, but I think her debt needs to be in control.
Okay, I didn't look at it like that, but yes.
So here's the hard truth. You're not going to be ready to buy a house a year from now. It may be 2 or 3 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We have to get rid of the debt
You
completely.
don't have 70,000 coming in.
What I don't get is this woman's living at home. Where's all of her money going to? That's what I don't get. You know, is she not having to pay rent, electric, lights? I mean, I would think she would be able to just book her way out of this. I don't even see why it would take 3 years. You know, if she's taking advantage of being able to live at home. This, though, it's something to think about. Is sometimes living at home can actually be a hindrance to getting yourself ahead. Because like I said, it's lifestyle creep. Yeah, people get lifestyle creep because they get a job and that job gets a pay raise. Yeah, that's one type of lifestyle creep. But another way to get lifestyle creep is you live with someone, okay, a parent or whatnot, where the bills are reduced. And didn't we just talk about that the other day too? Yesterday, I believe, a couple living at home. That's the god awful story about families screwing each other over. You really ought to watch yesterday's video. If you didn't tune in, okay, you really should. But it's a sense of lifestyle creep in the sense that there's debt. And is it debt that you would have taken on if you had not lived at home with someone? In other words, if you had been forced to manage your money more tightly, almost seems like an irony. You would think living at home would make debt easier to control. But in reality, for some people, I think it can make it worse. Because that responsibility of you're responsible for 100% of the debt is gone. So what happens is you go, oh man, mom and dad are paying the electric bill, or big sister or brother, whomever you're living with. These are for people who are not the most responsible in financial management. Okay. So living with somebody where they get a free ride, so to speak, actually becomes a hindrance to their own financial success. Something to think about.
In the next 12 months. You have 60,000 coming in, and you have 70,000 in debt.
Right.
Yeah.
What?
That's 60,000 gross. After taxes, it's probably closer to about 45.
I was thinking maybe I should save up this year, pay off, my 401k, the $14,000 just flat out paid off.
This girl doesn't know what she wants. I mean, I'm confused almost listening to her. She really doesn't know what she wants. She's been too busy racking up money. She has no real clear focus. It's just a thought.
Or if I should pay the high interest rate that I have on the personal loan.
I think we're beyond the math of interest rates. I would just list all of your debts out from smallest to largest, make minimum payments on all of the debts except for the smallest one, and we're going to attack that one with a vengeance. As much extra on the principal as you can throw at it. And that might mean you're doing side jobs after your master's program, after your full-time job.
When you complete your master's when?
And the end of this year.
Well, how come she's got student loan debt if she says the school is paying for it? I'm kind of confused about that.
So 12 more months.
Uh-huh.
12 more months to rack up more debt, I'm sure.
Do you have any time to do tutoring while you're working on your master's?
Not really. I mean, the job is pretty demanding. Sometimes I do have to work weekends.
I can understand that. I can understand. Education jobs are very demanding. They're exhausting. They're mentally exhausting, physically exhausting.
You said you're living at home with your parents?
I do. Yes.
Okay,
And
so you have almost no
$600.
expenses? What are you having to pay for right now?
The loans that I have and the credit cards, I do give.
Why is this girl so far in debt? Living at home. It's like, what is she getting? Grubhub, Uber Eats, which, by the way, I've never used a day in my life. I've never used Grubhub. I've never used Uber Eats. Those come and we feed you. I'm just too paranoid that somebody's gonna, snack on the food before I get it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Contribute $600, but it's the loans that I have, the personal loans. Situations happen, and obviously I did that, but...
Okay, you're going to have to draw a line in the sand and quit borrowing money. I don't hear any more about your situations. You've situationed yourself into your parents' basement. You got to quit situationing.
Yep, she does. All right, folks, it is 9:30. It is time for me to hit the hay. All right. It's actually past my bedtime to be on the computer deck on a work night, but hey. All right, folks, let's hit it. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. Oh, yes. Red microphone. Red microphone. This is Student Loan Chit-Chat. I'm so glad you joined me this evening. I hope you will consider subscribing. For those of you that will be listening to this at work tomorrow, you have yourself an absolutely outstanding Monday. For those of you that listen to this while you are exercising, don't forget to check your heart rate. And for those of you that listen to this while you have tea with your toast, please don't forget, save me a slice. I'm Carrie. This is Student Loan Chit Chat. Have a beautiful Sunday. Bye.